What's going on, guys? It's Shane here from House of Cards TCG, and today we're going to be discussing what might just be the most broken Yu-Gi-Oh card ever printed. It's called Triple Tactics Tasking, and it's coming out in Photon Hypernova. So before we jump in, I want to show off some of the merch that we just got in. So we just got in a hoodie, and I'm wearing it now. It looks really nice. It's a nice black color with a Millennium Rare Pharaohs pattern, and got the rainbow pattern. It looks really good in person. The colors really pop. Links in the description, so check that out. And we also have a playmat. It's a 2-player. You can also fold it in half, which is what I'm doing. It looks really good. Again, it's black and the colors really pop on it. So check that out. It's a really nice, high quality playmat. It'll last for years. It looks really good. So why don't we jump right in and read the text of Triple Tactics Tasking. So this translation I have is just Triple Tactic. Konami hasn't come out with the official English translation yet. So this is what we have so far. From what I saw online, the best translation was Tasking, but probably won't wind up being that. So let's go ahead and read it. If your opponent has activated a monster effect this turn, you can set one normal spell or trap directly from your deck, except Triple Tactic, and it cannot be activated this turn. Or if your opponent controls a monster, you can add that card to your hand instead. You can only activate one Triple Tactic per turn. So the biggest difference with this card versus Triple Tactic's Talent, which shares similar name and similar picture, is that this card does not limit you just to the main phase like Triple Tactic's Talent does. This card, if your opponent activates something during the standby, during the draw phase, during the battle phase, it's going to be live. So that in itself makes it much more versatile than Talent was, where you would try to almost bait your opponent into activating something in the main phase. This one's a lot harder to play around. This card also makes the Bestial monsters in themselves much weaker, because Bestials are satisfying both of these conditions. They are activating a monster effect, and they're putting a monster on board. So all of a sudden, if you Bestial me, I can grab any normal spell or trap, and I'll be able to activate it this turn, which is huge. So Bestials get a little bit weaker post Photon Hypernova. So let's go over what are going to be the best targets to grab off this card. First one is pretty obvious, going to be Triple Tactics Talent. This card's insane. It's 3 banned cards, Pot of Greed, and then taking a monster until the end phase, and then Confiscation. So not much to say. Everyone knows how good this card is. It's pretty much a staple, I would say. It's a really good card. So being able to search this just makes it that much better. Next we have Change of Heart. So Change of Heart, one of those broken cards that's on Talent. A little bit different because it targets, but taking control of an opponent's monster is just going to be really good next format. Cashier is going to put up a board which can lock you out of 3 zones up to 5 zones, depending on exactly what they do. But if they do lock you out of the 5 zones, Change of Heart's going to be huge, because you can target their Shangri-La, and you can't take control of it because you don't have a zone, so it'll fall off. It'll go to either the graveyard or banished if you're under the macro or the shifter, and then your zones will be cleared up. So that's going to be a really big one to take. There's a lot of options to take. Just in general, this card's insane. It's really good versus Tier Element. Helps you break that board. So being able to search this, it's crazy. You're going to see this in a lot of side decks, maybe even some main decks, just having it as a one-up target. It's just a really good card going second as well. Dark Ruler No More, obviously negating your opponent's board. It's going to be big. They can't respond to it with monster effects. Dark Ruler No More is just always good against combo decks, so that's going to be something you're going to see as well, and something that you should consider. You could even put in these cards. You can even put in as a one-of, just because they're now searchable. Foolish Burial. I haven't seen a lot of people mentioning this one, but this card's obviously really good in Tier Element, where you can send Kelbeck or Agido, or you can send any of the Tier Element names and have a fusion summon. This card's also good in Sprite. You can send the Nimble Angler. You can get 2 bodies on board. Foolish is just, throughout the history of Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just been a really good card, and it most likely will continue to be, and now it's searchable. So just a really good target. Feather Duster, this one don't need to talk too much about. This card has been pretty much a staple in every side deck since it came back to 1. It's just too powerful not to play, especially in formats where there's some macro decks that you might be afraid of. Yeah, not much to say about Feather Duster. Lightning Storm, same kind of, same basic, as Feather Duster, same reasoning there. You want to have the flexibility though with this one to be able to wipe out your opponent's attack position monsters or their spells and traps. So having that flexibility is really good for Lightning Storm. That's why you see Lightning Storm in a lot of side decks. So being able to search that's pretty good. Desires, haven't seen a lot of people talking about this one, but if your deck is playing Desires, you might just want to grab this and draw 2 cards. Seems pretty good. If your deck can play Desires, it's pretty much always been that you should. So it's just a really good card. 1 for 1, again, now if your opponent tries to interact with you and they activate a monster effect that turn, now all of a sudden you can special level 1 monster from your hand or deck. That's just really powerful. Regeki, same thing as Lightning Storm. Removal is going to be really good next format. You want to be able to get rid of the Kashtira end board where they put up the Macrocosmos and then they lock you out of zones. So if you can wipe out their end board, that's pretty good. Regeki's just, I think it's going to be a really impactful card in this format. So if you don't have your copies, again, go ahead and grab that. Rhoda, just a really good target. Not too much to say about Rhoda. Same thing with Terraforming. Field spells have been broken for a while now, probably since Diagram, Meltdown. There's just been so many crazy field spells, and they're just getting better and better and better with the power creep. So, being able to grab the Primeval Planet, the new Kashtira one as well. Thankfully, you can't use this to grab Mystic Mine anymore, but Terraforming is just going to be one of the most common targets that people are grabbing off of tasking. Imperm is probably going to be the next most common. If your opponent, say they Ash Blossom or Imperm you, and you have the tasking but you don't really have a good option to set from your deck, say it's game 1, this is in your main deck, this is probably going to be in most people's main decks next format. It's really impactful versus all the 3 best decks right now. So Sprite, it's really good versus Tier Element, it's really going to be really good versus Kashtira. So if they try to interact with you, now you can set an Imperm directly from your deck and they have to deal with that next turn. So Imperm's going to be a really good one, really common one. D-Barrier is going to be insane. The 2 best decks are most likely going to be Tier Element and Kashtira, pending whatever Konami does with the ban list. But so Tier Element, obviously, they're primarily a fusion deck, so locking them out of fusions for a turn is going to be huge. Also, Kashtira is an Xyz deck, so locking them out of Xyz, pretty much going to be GG. You've pretty much won that one. You're going to see a lot of barrier. Sanctum. So Sanctum going into Scythe and going into Lancia. It has that flexibility where you can do both. That I really like a lot. So you're going to see people playing just maybe 1 Sanctum, 1 Scythe, 1 Lancia. A Pointer. Pointer's really good, just being able to rip your hand. It's limited to 1 for a reason. And again, if they don't have a body on board, instead of grabbing talents, you can just grab a point. And the last card we're going to talk about is Evenly Matched. So this card is going to be insane for going second. So if you're going second, and if you have tasking, if they activate any monster effector in your turn, which they most likely are, the best decks right now are going to be doing that. You can use tasking, grab Evenly, go to battle phase, and wipe out all their board but 1, which is going to be huge. Most Tier Element boards aren't putting up a Baron. They're not grabbing Crime, typically game 1, and they can't always even get to a game 2 or 3. So being able to have it evenly matched is going to put you in a really commanding position. You're going to see a lot of people playing this, at least as a one-of. So yeah, this is what I have for Triple Tactics tasking. I might have missed something, so let me know down below if there's any other cards you're thinking about playing as a target for Evenly Matched. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support. And this is Shane from House of Cards TCG, signing out.